Selective outrage, i.e., the cultural elite's hypocrisy. On Monday, July 29, 2024, in Southport in the UK, just before midday, a man walked into a Taylor Swift-themed dance class and began to stab children. A few adults were critically injured as they desperately tried to save the kids, and 3 little girls ages 6, 7 and 9-year-old died in the attack. On Thursday, police in England confirmed that a 17-year-old black teenager, born in Cardiff to Rwandan parents, had been charged with the murder of the 3 children. Soon after, a series of protests erupts in the UK and were hastily deemed far-right by the media, demonizing the emotional, yet violent, responses of white working-class individuals to the death of 3 innocent little girls. Indeed, the intellectual bourgeoisie in the 70s seized control of the cultural foundation, cinema, schools, newspapers, radio, television, and they subsequently diffused their ideology through those media in front of the passive masses. This cultural elite doctrine is a neo-Marxism, a political shift from the social, class struggle, to the societal, race, gender, sexuality, in which minorities are seen as victims of systemic discriminations and white people as a privileged group. Mass and subcultural media, films, series, music, etc., provided the perfect vessel for the transmission of their orthodoxy. This progressive left increasingly abandoned and demonized their traditional constituency, the indigenous proletariat, in profit of the unconditional defense of perceived oppressed minority groups. They even developed an unhealthy fascination for deviant individuals from those groups, crooks, thugs, drug dealers, etc., whose immorality is understood as a liberation from the so-called systemic oppression of Western societies. During the Black Lives Matter riots that followed the death of George Floyd, a criminal convicted for robbing at gunpoint a pregnant woman, the progressive left constrained us, on the ground of equality and social justice, to protest, to kneel, to put our fists in the air. However, they quickly demonize, label, violent right-wing extremists, even Nazi, the white working class revolted by the gruesome murder of 3 children. The promotion of minorities as new revolutionary agent offer to individuals coming for those groups of privilege to engage in civil disorder, understood as a liberation from so-called systemic oppression. On the other hand, the white working class ability to revolt has been diffused by collective demonization and individualism. Among the white working class, the concept of community has been shattered, while extra-European minority groups still function with a tribal mindset forged around victimization. They protect their members, even if in the wrong, against those identified as others. That is why a tribal justice was demanded for the death of George Floyd, taking the form of civil disorders, riots, looting, degradations, despite his criminal past. George Floyd did not deserve to die, but he was a delinquent, therefore certainly not a role model. Yet, in virtue of the color of his skin, the world was mandated to stop, and we were all required to spark outrage about his murder. Whereas the 3 innocent children who died in Southport do not share this privilege, as they do not have the right phenotype, their assassination should remain brief news stories quickly forgotten. And any reaction must be prevented in order to avoid raising tension, or playing in the hand of alleged far-right parties. The cultural bourgeoisie allows those identified as oppressed to riot, in virtue of their origin, skin color or religion, but silence the popular and collective anger of a white working class, victim of both the economic inequalities inherent to the neoliberal capitalism system, and the thirst of revenge from minority communities thinking of themselves as discriminated. In short, the cultural elite's hypocrisy has given birth to selective outrage, in other words, a world of inverted values in which we defend offenders by fear of stigmatizing them. A world in which we demonize those who mourn the horrible murder of children on the ground of their skin color. A world in which we protect oppressed criminals and punish innocent people designated as oppressors. A world in which white privilege means pay your taxes, apologize for the so-called white supremacy, and remain silent while your children are being killed.